guess. This is the Town of Lake Park, Florida Commission Budget Workshop for Thursday, September 4th, 2025. The time is now 6:09 p.m. Can we please have the clerk take the roll call?
Commissioner Linden,
Here.
Commissioner O'Rourke,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Present.
Vice Mayor Hensley,
Present.
Mayor Mashad.
Present. Can we please all rise for the pledge? All right, please be seated. Now we have our special presentation and report for the FY 2026 Budget Workshop, the third one, in regards to the proposed general fund, special revenue, capital project fund expenditures, CRA revenue expenditures, and our 5-year capital improvement plan, otherwise known as CIP. Ms. Barbara Gold, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Barbara Gould, Finance Director. We're going to start where we left off after our last workshop, which is for me, Department 600, for you, it's Special Events or Recreation, whichever name you want to call it by. I do have the summaries up on the screen. On the personnel section, there is no change. There's still 3 people full-time in that department, and summer camp counselors are also budgeted in that department. When you look at the actuals for salaries on the summer camp counselors, you'll see that we spent less than we budgeted, but we do budget for them to be here 40 hours for the whole period of camp, as well as starting several days before and perhaps several days after to finish the cleanup of camp. Operational expenditures, the Haitian Flag Day and the Jet Set Soccer have been relocated from the grant funding to this department, as we discussed earlier. Promotional activity decreased this year, and the reason for that is on your special, on your priority surveys, the lighting for Town Hall was not voted as a yes. So that was $12,539, I think, last year, and that's been removed, unless you want to change your mind. Go ahead.
No, it's not so much about changing our mind. I recall that last year the vendor either was delayed in putting it up or something like that, and we were supposed to get a credit. I think it was either we were going to get a credit or had asked about that, and so I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying?
I don't remember if we got
I don't know if we were to get a credit, but I think Commission had sort of reached a consensus asking here, do we need to pay for Town Hall because Town Hall wasn't lit during the same time that the rest of us? It was something along those lines,
Yeah.
if that sounds familiar to you.
So I don't remember whether it was a credit
What was it, Jamie?
or a refund, but we got a discount.
Okay.
And
We got it prorated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What was the proration on it? So it reduced it to this?
Hold on.
I should have been asking.
No, it's not
group
that.
effort,
You had a whole slew of people coming to rescue the scenario.
Okay.
So we paid $7,634 instead
Okay.
of the $12,539.
Instead of the 12, okay, so we got like about a $3,500 credit or something? Okay, thank you, Barbara.
you're welcome.
Okay.
So, and funding for chili cook-off is included. I made sure Rianiti agreed to that.
Okay.
There is one other thing I do need to note on special events. In 24-25, the Christmas tree or the tree lighting event was funded through the CRA. And this year it's supposed to be funded through the town. And I did not add it in there because I wasn't doing my comparisons. Yes. It wasn't there to compare to, and I've missed that. I have an estimated budget at this point of $10,000 that I do need to add.
That's an additive to what's already been
It will be in
budgeted.
addition to what's here.
Okay, and it's, the money is there.
The money is there, yeah.
Okay, that's always important.
Good.
Mr. Thomas?
The money being there from the CRA, since it would be the CRA funding it, or are you saying that it would be the town
The
funding it?
town will fund it.
Yeah, she said it's moving from CRA to.
Why can't the CRA fund that? Is that one of those restrictions?
Yes.
I see, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we make notes to this, right, is there a way that we can identify it with some type of asterisk, like why this is being done as a result of legislation, da-da-da-da-da? Because I think as we go through these process, I'm relying on my own memory, about how things are being recalled. So I was just thinking that as we move forward in a situation where now the CRA can't fund those items, and that's a result of state legislature, right? Maybe we could make editorial notes to that. This is why this is coming here.
So I have a list of things that I need to change,
Okay,
this being one of them.
okay.
And I will keep a detailed list of what it is, how much it is, where it is, and the why.
And especially this one.
Yes.
And only, in my mind, it's because this is not as a result of us. This is something that was imposed upon us from the state level, for that restriction. So that's the causal that I'd like for us to understand. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions on special events?
Any questions on this side?
I'll hold off. Go ahead. Mike.
Oh, sorry. Commissioner O'Rourke.
Are you saying we're not going to fund the lighting in the downtown? Is that?
No. The lighting and the lighting with the music, that is funded in the CRA's budget.
Okay.
We were talking about the event that goes along with the tree lighting. That event was in the CRA's budget last year, and it really shouldn't have been. It should have been in our budget.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm good.
Commissioner Linden?
For now, I'm good.
Oh, you're good? Okay. Nice. Okay. Ms. Gould, please continue.
Library. Again, personnel expenditure-wise, the library remains static with the same number of staff. In operating expenditures, there were a few small changes. Reduced janitorial costs in contract services. And we have allocated $41,000 in library materials with a dash grants. It's one of the last accounts in operating. In speaking with Judy, when we were doing our budget planning, she had identified about $41,000 worth of grants that the library could be eligible to apply for, and should they be awarded, that's what her budget will become. If she wins $10,000 worth of grants, they'll show $10,000 worth of revenue, and this line she can't overspend this line up to the $10,000. It's easier to put it in here than to try to add it after the fact.
Do we have any questions on the library?
What are those promotional activities? What does that entail, the promotional activities?
In the library, the promotional,
We're spending about like 12 something on there.
12,970.
12,970 or something.
You want to tell
something.
them in more detail, please?
Judy Cooper, Library Director. We are counting in there the Books for the Extravaganza, the Read for the Record, the Love Your Library event, summer reading program. I think that's it.
Okay. Because I didn't think I saw that broken down, so.
Oh, and promotional materials, which is like, the pens and pencils and stuff that we give out.
Oh, yeah, I just didn't know what we were spending the 12,009 on, so that's why,
Outreach programs as
didn't-
well.
yeah, so that's what I just kind of like wanted it.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
right here,
It wasn't necessarily a,
right here, the breakdown of the entirety.
so that's what, see, okay, so you see this? I'm going to show you. Where is it?
Hold on, go back one more.
Account number that ends in 48000.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
All good.
Any other questions on the library?
No, thank you.
Commissioner O'Rourke? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, this year, I believe, and I just wanted to make a note, because I think it's really important that we really participate in it, sorry. Is to read for the record, this year, I believe is it their 20th anniversary? So it's going to be, it's going to be a much longer effort to get out the reading and the effort to read to our kids. So it's something that I know Judy's going to be working, to focus on for our kids here in the town. So
And
I
we need to
appreciate that.
win back our award.
we will work hard to do that.
Good, Commissioner Thomas.
I do want to add to that, because every time we go to the local Florida League of Cities, and they award those who are small cities or small towns for Read for the Record, on those who are mid-sized towns for Read for the Record, and those who are large-sized town, our name is never even mentioned that we even read. And that's so, never have our names ever been mentioned,
No.
that we are one,
We actually did win it. We actually
We
won.
won.
when?
2 years in a row.
Oh, my goodness.
Because
yeah,
I
we-
didn't hear it, they didn't say anything last year
brought
about
this-
it, or
Right,
the year
last
before.
year, correct. Last
Well,
year, the year
excuse
before.
me, like I
year.
said, I
No, we.
Didn't
we,
hear
we
it.
That's
Okay.
understandable. We
Okay.
just clarify.
Judy, do you still have the
We did win 2 years in a row.
recognitions at the library? Yeah, we won.
We won 2 years in a row, and then we did get an honorable mention. And that's okay. We understand it.
Because it wasn't-
It wasn't within your time.
no,
Yes.
thank you, so again.
Yes.
We're
So-
going to try our best to win.
We do, especially for small towns. And another former commissioner and I, we're really like working on it to make sure that we reestablish our education board, and that we have reading for young adults, and children. We want to do that book club.
Absolutely.
So, and this is the time.
And this is one of those opportunities where it's a collaborated effort between us, staff, and the residents.
Yes,
Just to put that out there.
we can read in all forms. We're looking for it either electronic, whether paper form, however people read nowadays. So we're looking, please, suggestions. I have one. Thank you.
It'll be a priority. It is a priority. And we will focus on the kids, but also winning.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions other than this? Ms. Gould?
Next up is general government, which is Department 900. Way back at the beginning, when we talked about personnel cost, we talked about the raises for the general fund would be stored someplace. This is where it was. And that first line there called wage adjustment, that's where the raises for 24, 25, the related payroll taxes and retirement funds are set. At year end, that money will come out of there and be distributed throughout the general fund to cover the raise costs that were there. I have no idea why. I just know that since I've been here, that's how it was always done. Additionally, we have, yeah, please do. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
This again is where last year you funded, like Barbara was saying, you funded all the increases, the salary increases. this year, what we did, so it was a little bit more transparent, was we included those costs directly in each division or cost center, or each fund. So that way, you had a full understanding of what was happening in that department. Remember also, you saw a budgeted number, and then it really didn't add up to maybe the 4.5%, which is the 1.5 and 3% merit. That's because these numbers were not budgeted in those original numbers. They were brought in later on when raises were provided. So we felt like it was more transparent to include it in the department or in the division directly. So that's why you don't see anything there this year, but that's how we did it last year.
Refresh my head on that 288, 226 for the commission contingency.
That is unspent money that we need to put someplace to keep our budget for the general fund in balance. And right now, that is unspent.
So it's like a placeholder, basically. It's just a placeholder. Okay. Correct. Any other questions? Thank you. Commissioner Linden.
Thank you, Mike. Line item 71010, we're paying principal for CAR projects, $478,000.
The normal principal payment for that line would have been about $168,000. We've elected to pay off that portion of the loan at the beginning of the fiscal year so that when the CRA is ready to bond, they don't have this debt hanging over their head.
And we wanted to reduce the interest costs that we're paying.
Yeah.
So to save those dollars, we have the money, let's pay off the bond or the loan and be done with it. That way, if we do anything down the road bonding wise, we'll have an opportunity for a better bond rating, which will save us interest costs down the line too. So it's all about using our dollars today rather than spending more interest dollars later on.
Well, if this was CRA back in 2008, the CRA has a whole lot more money than we do. Why don't we let the CRA pay it?
They are.
They will give us the money as part of a transfer, and because the debt is in our name. So they give us the money, we pay it. There will be a small amount still left in principal on this loan, and that's the marinas portion. It's about $176,000, and they don't have the money to make that payment, but this will end in 2028 with the final payment on that piece.
So when you get to your CRA budget, you'll see an offsetting expenditure that will be the reserve or the transfer over to pay for that when you get to the CRA budget.
All right, thank you.
Follow up, please.
Commissioner O'Rourke.
I'm a little bit, we've funded different enterprise accounts in the past, correct, out of our operating?
Yes,
And is this an example of that?
yes.
Okay, so, you know, I heard you say before that's the way it was done. I'm happy you're here, Barbara, because we don't want it done that way anymore.
My guess is back in 2008, from the rummaging I have done for other things, is it was the only way you were going to get this loan was for the town to be responsible. It was split up in a number of different, because we ended up with a 2008A, a 2008B, and a 2009 loan. And it covered a variety of things, from marina improvements to alleyways to purchase, acquisition, the town bus. There was a pension settlement, which I think had to do with the firefighters. I think there was one more, but that covered the majority of the loan. So each year, when the payment comes due, principal, interest, everybody ponies up their share of the money. Marina's the only one at this point that's left after we pay this off with the CRA.
And you say that loan would be complete in what year?
April of 2028.
28, okay.
Barbara, I was going to say, 2008, that would have been during the time of the recession here, and I know that the CRA was probably in the negative because there was no development. I think we went for about 3 years, Nadia, without even having a planning and zoning board meeting. And I believe that was probably during the years, too, that our employees had to take pay cuts.
Pay cuts and furloughs?
Yes, and furloughs during that time, so, yeah.
Yes, I heard about those things.
Oh.
I'm not arguing against that. In the past, what I'm proposing is that I'm not proposing. I'm just suggesting that we move away from that process of trying to fund enterprise zones and try to create a system where they are self-sufficient. I mean, that's really what the state looks for when they look at our budget. And they're going to come after us eventually because they don't like towns, cities, and villages.
And that's why the CRA is looking to bond to cover its projects and to do its thing. And by the CRA bonding, even if CRA legislation, they try to sunset the CRAs, the CRA will have to remain open as long as there is an open bond.
Thank you.
Commissioner Linden.
Under account number 931,000, Town Commission quarterly newsletters.
There was money set aside in this current budget for newsletter distribution, printing, mailing that was not used. It is still there. We brought it back to be able to do something. If it ends up being electronic, then the money won't get spent.
The goal is to have newsletters that can go out to the community on a quarterly basis that are topic-based. So might be, if we were doing one now, it might be about the budget. Another one might be about development. So this way we have the funding to be able to do that. And if we wanted to mail it so that everyone could see it, like Barbara was saying, that would give us the ability to do it, but also to print it and to be able to produce it. So looking at a little bit different ways to get information out and more information about what's happening within the town.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Vice Mayor, you have anything?
Yeah, would these newsletters include like workshops also with the money? Like the workshop mail outs?
Do you want me to? Yeah, the idea would be to talk about what is going on now. There might be the solid waste, the change in the solid waste. That might be the main topic where we talk about mainly public works and sanitation issues. In that document, we would still talk about meetings that are coming up, but it'd be a lot more condensed, like with bullets and did you knows and things that people will really remember and identify with, rather than a whole bunch of text and things like that. But yes, it will have our upcoming events and meetings as well that we would need to advertise or post.
I guess what I was asking, like, you know how we mail out flyers for workshops? That's not in the price of this?
No, that would be different.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah. We would include that in the newsletter when we could.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, I think
Commissioner
that's what I was
Thomas?
going to say because I saw the difference.
Wait, no, because you got up to explain something.
Oh, no, because I understood what he was asking.
Okay, so in addition to the monthly, there's also going to be a quarterly?
So it appears. Yes, but the monthly is it starts with the mayor's message, and it's got different short things that are, not necessarily one topic. Whereas what the town manager is looking to create are quarterly single topic newsletters. Like he said, we could have one quarter about the budget, or one quarter about, all of the things Public Works does, or, whatever the topic may be. So it would be a single focus.
So we'll go from 12 to 4, or are we going from
12 to 16.
20? Okay,
These will be 4 additional in
Okay.
addition to.
It's an addition, not an instead.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just as a caveat, we would include flyers about upcoming workshops and whatnot as we can, because we've also had things that come up with a quick turnaround, and we could have just gotten the newsletter out the other day, and now we got to do this. So we will do everything we can to ensure timely inclusion, but if we can't, we can't. So, but we would then include that information in our monthly newsletter.
Different topic. Oh, no, different, yeah.
Which
Off the
one?
newsletter.
Yes,
No, not the newsletter.
not, okay. Is this question for me or for Barbara?
Barbara,
Okay.
I'm a little confused, so I see 2 line items for Johnson Controls, 71040, a principal payment, 70,000 and change. And then the next page, you have an interest of 41,000.
Correct.
That's serious interest.
It is. It is.
What is, and I should know, what are we paying Johnson Controls for?
You want me to?
Do you want to
So,
explain it better?
so what we did was, we entered into a performance contract with Johnson Controls. And what happens when you do that, and there's like 7 companies, or it's part of statute as well. And the thought is that this company will come in, make the improvements, the energy efficient improvements, the water conservation improvements, all these types of improvements that will help save money over a period of time. Over that time, when you enter into that agreement and they do the work, they then are expected to get repaid. And that's what this is. This is their repayment back for their investment into helping us to save money. And this is a contract that we've had now for a number of years, and so we're just following through on what the contract is requiring.
Let me see if I understand that, and I hope I'm wrong. But we're paying them $70,000 and then another $41,000 interest for them to take care of any item we may have with the 7 companies.
They've already done it. They've already done the work. They've already made the improvements. So now they recover the savings that we would have made, so that we didn't have to pay the infrastructure costs or the upfront cost. They made that investment, so now they recover the costs that we would have saved. That's the way the performance contracts work.
But we still have to pay them for the work.
No, you're paying them for the work and the savings that we're receiving from our electric bills, our water bills, and things like that. That's how they essentially get paid. But it is a number that we have to budget. And Jamie, when did we enter into these contracts? And when was the work done? Do you know off the top of your head?
3 years ago. It was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly 3. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jamie Morales, Public Works. It was roughly 3 years ago where the town entered into an agreement with them, and it's exactly what the town manager is explaining. They invested on upgrading our facilities, whether it was the AC units or our water-controlled units, and now we're repaying. based on performance.
Something wrong with that, and I just must not be understanding it right. Simply due to the fact that we're paying them to save us money, but yet when they come in to repair or do something, we're paying them for that repair.
No, Commissioners, there's no such thing as repair from them. So we take care, they came and they upgraded our facilities, our infrastructure, whether it was the AC, the unit, the chillers, or such. Once that investment, we did not have to put any money down for that investment. They took care of that investment. The guarantee from them is that the town would have future savings based on performance from that moment on, and they guarantee those savings. But we are still paying. It was like, think about it as a loan. We're paying for that upgrade system that we got from them, from Johnson Control.
And it was not only like a loan, but it was also they did the work. So we essentially borrowed the money for them to make the improvements, and now they're recovering their investment from the savings or the dollars that are being saved because of the energy efficiencies or the different improvements that they made.
Now, if they issue a yearly report, and if that yearly report demonstrate the contrary, that we have not been able to save as they indicated in performance, they then pay us.
So that's what the report is saying, is stating how much. It's safe to assume that 41,240 is the savings.
I have to look into the actual numbers, but yes, they're giving us the total of how much we've been saving based on performance.
Yeah,
But I don't know if that particular number, I wouldn't want to commit
I'm
to that number.
understanding his confusion then, because it's like, yeah, it's saying an interest, but in reality, it's not necessarily an interest. It's almost like a payback to whatever we're saving from the performance work that they're doing.
Yes.
So,
Wait, if it's a budget request and it's an interest payment, that's a payment we're making to them,
correct, but I think
not them giving us.
No, what I think is missing here is that report that shows how the savings is generated to equal out to this number.
I could issue that, the last report that we received, I can share with the commissioners.
But you said that we haven't saved any money.
No, I have not said that. That's, we have saved. The performance demonstrate that we have had savings within our usage of light consumptions or electrical consumptions and water consumption, which those are the target that they have in the contract. So they establish, we with them in our contract, we establish some targets that we need to meet, and they monitor those targets for us. FPL has a similar project that works with their customers as well, where they come in, they improve the infrastructure at no cost or at a minimum cost, but then the customer has to repay, whether it is at an annual portion or a monthly portion, but the repayment of that investment is there, and they guarantee certain savings. If they don't hit those marks, like established savings, then that's where they do the adjustments.
And this report will show that.
The report will show that. Will show the performance that we've been able to demonstrate that we saved money.
Do we have any idea how long that contract, when it expires?
I believe, don't quote me, but I think it's for 10 years.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere, Jamie, because I will tell you, I am confused.
Yeah,
Because I would like to know, it almost, I mean, when you see principal payment, you're thinking to yourself, well, there was a loan. How much was the loan, right, is what I'm thinking, right? Mm-hmm. And then now that I have the loan, now I'm paying interest on the loan. So I'm paying $111,000 a year on what? So I think that's what it is. You know, we're trying to wrap our heads around, at least me, I'm trying to wrap my head around what that means.
That's why I'm saying I think it's a naming convention issue.
Yeah, you know.
The naming convention that is
So
called
at least don't quote me on this number, and I apologize because I was not here when the contract was developed and established. But based on my knowledge and understanding, the investment was 1 point something million. $1.4 million, and it has to be repaid within 10 years, if I'm not incorrect. So if you add those values up, probably is similar to what you have understanding. Now, I can't disclose or say or that the interest amount is incorrect or correct because I don't know the elements and details of the contract. I could just give you the overall meaning that the contract was established for. But I could look into it, and I could probably follow up with any additional information that you may have and clarify any information that you may need.
And so just to double back, the benefit is of these types of contracts is that you don't have to put the upfront money into the project. The 1.4, you don't have the money, you have a chiller issue, you're either taking a loan out, then contracting. This is like an all-in-one kind of thing where you're borrowing and you're contracting at the same time kind of thing, and then you're repaying
needed,
them
right.
back, essentially. So what it did was it saved us the money from having to spend $1.4 million on things that we may have needed at that time so that we didn't have to put the money out then. Now you're repaying, and you repay basically based on the savings that they guarantee you.
Well, there's two payments. One is a payment that goes to the principal, which was the amount we borrowed in the first place. And the second one is money we pay on the savings for those infrastructure items we put into place, chillers, ACs,
Flows, yes.
all of those things.
Light fixtures.
And they do some formula to determine. But I'm curious, when we do in our budget, and I haven't looked back. Are we looking back at? Are we paying? Is there a standard amount that we have paying, like electricity, for example, or water? All of those, they appear somewhere else, right?
So yes, we do pay those, and they give us a report based on the usage and the costs associated, and they take in consideration any elevation on costs. Let's take electricity as an example. Any increase in cost, they do provide those input in the report, and they also give us the consumption amount and our savings amount based on the elements or the components that they installed. So they're guaranteeing that performance is taking place.
I will iterate it. It's a naming convention issue. It should not be called an interest payment because that's not what it is. It's a performance payment, basically, of savings. So just for future, I would say that needs to be changed because when he said what he said, I agree with 100%. That's very misleading to say I'm paying a principal payment and an interest payment when it's not truly an interest payment. It's a payment of savings that's guaranteed based on performance of what infrastructure part they are actually working on and the effect that it has after the fact of what it's saving you.
That's my understanding.
Yes.
As well.
Commissioner Linden.
No, you know what, I'd love to look at that contract because it does not sound like it's in the benefit of the town. Because if you saved on the items that you mentioned, 1.4 pays for a lot of items. And to see that annually up to that 10 years, and is there a balloon payment like a loan at the end of the 10 years?
will need to look into the contract to answer that question, Commissioner. If you allow me the opportunity, I'll do so, and I'll provide you a copy of the contract and any other information I have from the contract.
Yeah, just
Well,
share them.
again, it just sounds bad on the surface. It may be good, but in 10 years, some of us will probably still be up here on the dais, and we're looking at a payment to them for $500,000-$600,000 because we didn't get that savings. It's going to look worse. We have to pay it. We're under a contractual obligation to pay it. But man, may have been good at the time. It just doesn't sound right to me. So
Totally agree with you, Commissioner.
I think maybe hopefully the report will clarify the gaps that we're seeing, we're thinking that's in this contract. So,
Now, I'll be more than willing and to share the report with the commissioner.
thank you.
Okay.
Any questions?
One more, Barbara.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, was somebody else?
It was you. Go.
Okay. When I saw this one really troubled me. 91,160. Reimbursement, various FY fiscal year 21 through 24 P3 expenditures for close to $500,000.
So what happened was we received a public improvement revenue of $1.8 million. It was to be used in the marina area, that area over by Nautilus, for improvements. When we reviewed expenses earlier this year, some of the expenditures didn't quite meet the definition of the ordinance that governs the money. There really were more general fund expenses than anything else. So the general fund is going to repay the public improvement fund those expenditures.
So nothing
ahead, 'cause
against you, you just have to deal with the numbers you got.
So essentially, when Nautilus was being approved, they were built at a taller height than what was permitted. Inside of your code, it says that if you go up past certain number of stories, Nadia, is it 20? 18, excuse me. They have to then pay a certain amount. That money goes into what's called a public improvement fund. That benefits the whole area down by Federal Highway. It's how we've been able to do some of the work in Kelsey Park with the master plan and different things like that. So when I got here and we started the group and we started looking at all of our costs and understanding the comprehensive agreement, we identified that there was a number of expenditures that were paid for out of the public improvement fund for items that, like Barbara said, that may not have been public improvement fund expenditures. So to essentially ensure that we're utilizing the money properly and in accordance with the ordinance and the code that you guys have approved or the commission's approved, we have to reimburse back the public improvement fund. So these monies have already been expended, they've already been spent, so we have to, all we're doing is just making it right and putting the money back into the public improvement fund, which is where it should be. So the IG comes or an auditor issue, it's shown that, yeah, it was taken, but we made it right, we cured it.
So
And that's what we're trying to do.
So this number reflects the improvements that didn't necessarily fit under the public improvement?
That's right.
And that's just a reimbursement for those to ensure that the town is governing properly?
That's right. That's right. And just so you have an understanding, we're going to, this was in Rionides, but we're going to leverage these dollars. Our intent is to leverage these dollars as a match, a 50% match for a federal land and water conservation grant, which would bring us in back $1 million. So we would get an extra $500,000 to make improvements in those areas that we'll talk to you later about. But that's the plan for these dollars, is to use that so that we can leverage it for grant dollars and bring more dollars back to our community to make improvements, mainly in Kelsey Park or in that area.
Okay.
All right, let me elaborate on that because that's a lot of money. And I've said that statement a couple times tonight. Were they miscoded? They should never have been there, or were they just put in randomly? How did we discover $470,000 was spent incorrectly? That sounds like we get audited every year. How was that missed?
Well, your auditors don't check every expenditure. They randomly select different areas, different expenditures. So they may or may not capture everything. This was your professional staff finding it and wanting to do the right thing and make sure it's right. So I really credit, the folks that were in those meetings that identified it. And so that's how we found it. But again, your auditor is not going to find everything all the time. And I can tell you, the staff that we have now and where we're looking, we found it right. We saw it when we started looking at all the expenses. We saw it, and we would have done it earlier, but it made sense to do it at the upcoming budget. So I really do value, everyone that was in there that helped to identify these dollars and how they were misappropriated or appropriated in the wrong area.
Well, okay. Other than the same people were here. Well, I take it back. Most of the same people were here in 21 to 24. So if Dodge was to come in and do an audit, this would jump out like a red flag.
Well, it's not waste. I don't know if it's waste abuse or in that aspect. It was misidentified in the fund, and so it was spent out of the wrong fund, and it should have been spent out of another fund. Would we probably get a comment? Absolutely, if it were caught in an audit. But that's what we're doing. We're curing it and making it right.
So it's basically a reallocation from the money that they use from one fund to another.
All right. That's a long time. And for that to go unnoticed. So, all right. Nothing more we can say or do about it. We got to make it right. And
John, I wanted to comment on that with what you're saying. Do we have an itemization of what those funds are?
Yes.
Would it help if it was at least identified as far as what it is? I mean, are those a lot of large projects? Are they, small projects that have just added up to that? Is there some way we can itemize that? Because I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is it some way that it could be itemized and at least noted?
I can tell you what all
It
the
can be
dollars
done?
add up to.
Okay.
I would say
That was part of
Okay.
reviewing and finding.
Okay.
And
And if we can justify it, I think that's perfect. I don't think it's out of the ordinary of what you're asking. It's a large enough number, and again, it's probably based on the interpretation at the time, what they thought it was, because that's what they stated, and what staff now has interpreted as. And as a result, we should note it. We should note so that when we go back, this is why we reimburse these funds. So I would agree, so that it's very transparent.
It's not a loss. It's simply a misallocation.
correct.
That's all it is. There is no money loss in this. It's like you have line A and line B. Line A was supposed to be for this, this, and this, and you used line B for it. And now line A owes line B the money that it spent. So the money's just shifted to one line item to
Well,
another.
if it was a $50,000
No,
mistake,
I respectfully understand your
They're,
position on that. Yeah.
that's either bad mismanagement or not understanding your job, one or the other. If you know it should have went on line B, then it should have went on line B. That's what you're getting paid for. If you were coerced or influenced to put it on line A, different story. All right, so thank you to get it straightened out. But for that time period,
Yeah, I would suggest that, what the mayor's saying is pretty accurate because, again, during that time period too, if you would remember, I mean, we've gone through a number of finance directors, we've gone through a number of folks, mistakes happen. And in this case, yeah, there's a lot of money attached to it, but it wasn't all this big number. It was a number of other smaller
Correct.
items
It's an assembly.
that added up to this. So you're seeing at the end of the tunnel, in the beginning of the tunnel, it was a bunch of cars
Correct.
with smaller amounts.
Correct.
And so things happen. And the good thing is that your professional staff today has caught it. We know where the problem was. we don't want to have the problem again. But, again, the staff that were here weren't the ones, or the finance director wasn't the one that was the finance director then. And so our staff, I really do appreciate them finding, the problem. And we could have just said, let it go. But that isn't the right ethical and professional thing to do.
Absolutely not.
So, or financially right thing to do.
I agree, but I look forward to looking at that list. Because in a corporate world, somebody would get fired over that. So, all right. I'm sorry, Barbara.
Not a problem. Any other questions on the items in
Any questions over here,
non-governmental?
Commissioner? Vice Mayor? Okay. Ms. Gould, please continue.
Next up on my list is Fund 160, which is the Public Improvement Fund. It's the one with the little handwritten tab on there because I'm too cheap to buy new ones.
Hold on.
Say it again, please.
No.
It's the next tab in your book, and
I
it's
got
got
you.
Pub
I don't have it,
Improve
no.
160.
Pub Improve. 160.
Thank you.
But if you ask me, it's 160. I forget that y'all don't know the names that go with it. It's easier to... Do you not have the tab in your book?
Listen, those are your pet names.
I know. I know.
I'm just kidding.
Commissioner Linden, you don't have it?
I have it. It's a written one. It's handwritten.
It should have been right after
I
900.
got a little more.
It's always right there. I understand.
Thank you for putting me in the right direction. It's pub, P-U-B. It's handwritten, so that's
food for
okay.
thought for next
Handwritten?
year.
Got it.
Yep,
Got it.
and I'm recycling old tabs.
Just a food for thought for next year. PDF.
See, I would call it PIF, but I was trying to be more...
It even has a table of contents on the side to help.
So this year in the Public Improvement Fund, the revenues coming in is going to be the transfer or that repayment of the $400. We have a small amount of money that's already listed as match for a CDBG grant of $9,893. The remainder of the money is set in a contingency until we decide what we want to do in Kelsey Park first and how much matching grant money we get to go with.
So if you'll look, sorry, Barbara,
That's okay.
the transfer from the general fund in revenues, you'll see that 470,400 that we were just talking about. So that expenditure in the previous fund in the 900 account is now showing as a revenue in this fund. So that's where you see the reimbursement. That's the out and then the in back in. And so these dollars, again, we're hoping to use as a 50% match. That would be our recommendation, because it has to be used in this area. That's what the code says, that the funding has to be used in that area. So following your master plan that was done, we would probably pick projects, make recommendations to you all, and then go after the grant.
Any questions?
I have one.
Commissioner Linden?
Under 99901, Kelsey Park improvements. This is a 50% matching grant. So is the total amount 500,000?
So our portion we have available is $460,000. We'd be looking for a grant of about that much. If it's a 50% match, it would have to be another grant of $460,000. And then we could spend the full $920,000.
All right, so if this was a $250,000 grant and we had to match it, that means we have to take $250,000 out of reserve?
Well, if the project we wanted to do was $500,000 and we had a grant for 250, we would take $250,000 out of this 460 and use that. And then the remainder could then be used for another grant. There are a lot of different projects in the master plan for Kelsey Park. Some of them are very expensive, and some of them are small. So it would depend on what direction you provide us to go into as to what you wanted to do first. Staff would have recommendations.
But that would be a part of that public improvement.
That would be
That would be geared towards this,
correct because of the area it's in.
from the money that was given back
Right.
to the general fund. That
Given
was
back from the general
From the general fund, correct.
Thank you, Barbara.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. So that takes care of the public improvement.
No,
fund.
it doesn't.
Commissioner
I'm
Thomas had
sorry?
a
I
question.
have a
Yes.
question. I want to know, is this that lump sum money that we get from the CDBG? What, you know, because as small communities, we have to wait, I think it's like 8 years or something like that. Is that CDBG funding money, though?
This would be a land and water conservation grant. So it's a federal grant as well. We would have to apply for it.
Correct.
And, you know, you can do multiple projects under that type of grant program. You know, I've done many of them, and
Okay, so this is not, okay. I had made a note here, where are the CDBG funds? And I know we were thinking of putting in a splash, you know, a fountain or whatever it is, right? Because I looked at that when it says other improvements under the Kelsey City as far as fitness. And then I was looking for the future Kelsey improvements. So
yeah, that 400's budgeted in another location.
in
and
another
that is-
location, so it's not going to be, it's not budgeted here at all.
No,
Because
So cross this out. So
So-
this is not that CDBG funds.
no, ma'am.
Okay.
we have a fund called Special Projects, and we'll run most grants through there. Most of the CBGs will go through there.
Okay.
The stormwater grants go through there. So the revenue gets started there, the expenditures match it. Once the project is done, then it will be transferred out to its appropriate fund. So if it's a CDBG, it can stay there because it's technically part of the general fund.
See, the only reason why I said, because like, you know, we had account 6,300 where we have, or 63,000 where we have improvements, and then we have, this is for the fitness replacement, and it has in there in paren CDBG funds, right?
And that's all, the rest of it's in 301.
And so that's why I'm trying to figure, do we have all of those CDBG funds for improvements in some place, or we have it like, you know, sort of scattered or staggered others?
They're in 301, so we'll get there after we go through streets and roads.
Oh, okay. Okay, but these are not, okay. That's my.
This is funded this is funding specifically utilizing that public improvement money.
Okay.
That's all it is. Yeah. The pub improvement.
The
Pub.
PIF.
Commissioner O'Rourke, you have anything? No?
Okay.
Ms. Gould, continue.
We're on to Fund 190, Streets and Roads. Streets and Roads is funded by the local option gas tax, both of them. The other one's called a new local option gas tax, in some state revenue sharing funds. We also have a DOT lighting grant where we take care of streetlights that are the responsibility of the DOT, and they pay us to do so. Typically, oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, I just wanted to point out the 80,313 where it says new local option gas tax, that 5%, that was the money that was going to expire, that the Palm Beach County League of Cities was encouraging all the cities to renew with the county, and we were one of the cities that actually did that. They needed so many cities with so much population to be able to renew it, and you guys approved it unanimously. Otherwise, we would have lost that $80,000. So appreciate that.
So while we're talking about the gas taxes, finally, the state released the estimates of what we can expect for these two gas taxes. I've got my numbers a little cross, but I'm within $400 of that, so I will make that small change when I redo the budget for the first public hearing.
Yeah, Barbara just received the revenue projections, and so the numbers you have here were her estimates, because we were waiting so long. Goes to the comment the other day, and she was within $400 of their projections. So that
Sometimes it
just goes
just
to show how, we're not going crazy with the numbers. We're trying to be accurate, and $400 I think is pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Just
pretty
lucky.
good. That's very good.
This fund generally has one employee, and when you look at your detail for 24-25 activity, you'll see that that position was vacant for the whole year. That had Jamie moving people from other spots to take care of things in this area that were related.
We're still on streets and roads. You're all set with that part, right? You're done, right?
Unless you have specific
No,
questions
I just
on
want to make sure so I can have, if there's any questions. Do we have any questions on this side over here? Commissioner Linden, Vice Mayor? Okay. Commissioner Rourke, Commissioner Thomas?
Yeah. Barb, I wanted, I guess, to get an understanding of the operating expenditures for that account 31,000, where we had projects amounting to 102,761.
That was the last of design work for the oval about. So it was partially paid for by Streets and Roads, and the rest of it was paid for in CRA. So the plans are complete.
Okay.
They'll maybe need a refresh when we get around to actually doing the work, but the plans are complete, so that's why there's no more budget.
Okay, and then we had utilities electric. And then my question was, are these the light poles?
Yes.
Okay. And then I had a question on, I've always wondered this, where do we purchase our fuel? Do we have like a fuel pump in Public Works? Do we?
Yes, for both diesel and gas.
Ah, okay. Okay. Okay, so we do have that. Didn't know where I was like, that's all it costs to fill up the tank for the year? I was like,
Well, that would be for the vehicles that are used in this department. So there's a pickup truck, there would be one of those lifts you
Still,
drive
I
down the
mean,
road, and there's a backhoe and other things.
But still. Okay. Okay, so that's that for that, and then I had another one. Okay. This one was account 190 and then 336-100. And I had here maintenance. Is this the maintenance fee that FDOT pays us for US 1?
The one that says DOT lighting maintenance, correct.
Yeah. That, I think we just signed off on a contract most recently on that or something like that? Is that what it is? Okay. And then, okay. And then this one, I wanted to know, who monitors, this is account 34,000. Who does the GIS? Who monitors and actually works with our Esri account? And how many licenses do we actually have?
So we have one invoice that's apportioned out between Public Works and Community Development. So I know Anders, I'll have Jamie tell you who works on it on his end.
Okay.
So we have two main licenses, which is I possess one and Andrews possess one, and then we have like 6 users, but users are limited to characters and such and forth.
So basically 2 editors and
That's correct.
6 that can just
6
view.
users, yes.
6 can view, they can turn on layers, turn
Yes.
them off, do spatial analysis and all.
Who actually edits it? You? Who? we have-
Yes, I have edited rights, which I do. I do a lot of our maps.
Okay.
And I use in Public Works and Anders as well,
Okay. Just curious.
when we have the time.
I know, because it's a lot. That's a position.
By
We had a
himself.
we had a GIS person that actually did it. So that's why I was wondering, and that license is rather expensive. And so I wanted to know.
That's
You
a
know, who did-
very strong
And
program.
very, very, very strong. It could even provide storm surge information, hurricane. I mean, it's,
Yep.
so I was curious about who actually is operating it. Okay. Thank you. Huh? Okay. Then I had a question on, is it, this is 43,000 on the utilities, electric. Is it actually 10 streetlights we're doing? Or is it 12 streetlights? I try to do the numbers based on the 174. Is that 10 or 12 streetlights?
Those, are you trying to compare it to the revenue number?
Yeah.
So
Don't.
apples and oranges.
Huh?
Apples and oranges.
Don't, okay.
The 121,000 in utilities electric is us paying for the lights in the
Okay.
pools around town.
Okay,
The money that comes in from the DOT, those are poles up on US 1
yeah.
at North Lake that they're paying us to maintain.
No, I got that one. This
Okay.
121 is really what I was talking about, and then I was trying to do the math on it, because we had additional 10 streetlights estimated at that amount, but when I multiply it out, that's more than, that 2,090 lights that we have,
So Commissioner, just to reinforce on your comment is, we have 10 new streetlights that are
Yeah.
going in Silver Beach, but then we have 159 that are going to be installed around the town. You remember that map that I have provided previously that indicated the areas that they were going to impact. So that's where they did their analysis, and that's the increase that they're reflecting on the electrical usage for these streets.
usage.
Yes, electrical usage. So
Usage.
And Jamie, that's phase one.
that's only
By-
phase,
yeah.
those, let's say hypothetically, those 169 new streetlights, which is 10 on Silver Street and the other 159 around the town, that's just considered phase one. Phase two is the 358-ish that will require new infrastructure, which is new poles and new conduits. And that's where we have to come with our portion to contribute to the project.
Okay, thank you. 44,200. What's the lease vehicle that we have here? Equipment lease, what's that? What is that one?
Pickup truck?
Huh?
A pickup truck?
Oh, pickup truck, okay.
Commissioner, we will be, in the upcoming year, one of the things that Barbara, Jamie, and I have talked about is analyzing, the cost-benefit analysis of our leasing program. So that's going to be a really important project for us, and seeing, is there a benefit? How much are we spending? So it's something that we're going to really focus on over the next year.
Okay, then we have the sidewalks, the repair and maintenance of sidewalks. We have that 25,000. Where have we decided now where this is, or we're going to have to look at where the map is on this, Jamie? This 25,000 that's being allocated here.
Commissioner, this $25,000 that we're allocating is just like a placeholder. Our strategy this year is to concentrate, since we do not have enough or sufficient funds from the general fund to execute what we executed this year, which is probably roughly $300 and something thousand on sidewalk repairs this year, just in the town, not taking consideration of the CRA. We will be concentrating this year, particularly in the CRA area, right, to balance out until we could get more general funds for next fiscal year, that then we can take the areas out of the CRA and continue to perform the improvements that we did this year. So we're just strategizing. We just have that as a placeholder to keep something in there. We're going to use it, but the main focus is for next fiscal year, then ask for additional funds so that way we could resume the additional areas within the town.
Okay, so, but couldn't CRA pay for it?
CRA could only pay for areas or improvements for the enhancement pedestrian, but it has to be within the CRA area. It
I
cannot-
thought that's what you said, we're holding this in the CRA.
No, we're holding this for the town portion. So work that's been performed out of the CRA boundaries, that's where the 25K for this fiscal year is just a placeholder. I know we need more than that, but due to the fact that we do not have enough revenues on this venue, on the general fund, that's where we're strategizing, balancing everything out.
Okay, still stay there. Where's the traffic signs and signals that we're spending 16 on? 16,750.
Well,
It says traffic signs and signals. Like, are we putting up new traffic signs and signals?
Not that I aware,
what this-
unless there's a contribution for us to FDOT, but I could look into that one.
So is this another placeholder?
Probably.
Okay.
When signs get knocked over, it's our,
Because I just thought that was a lot. I was like thinking, are we building another sign?
But it takes a lot more than that to put a sign out.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because, and I
Yeah.
won't even say, okay. Okay. Yep, okay. Notes ran out.
and as with all of our projected dollars in the budget, if we don't spend it, it just goes right back in the reserves. It just, the goal isn't to suspend it, it'll go back into reserves if we don't use it.
Any other questions? Commissioner Linden?
Yeah, I have a couple that, some explanations on. 44,100 under rentals. We own our bucket truck. Doesn't the town have a bucket truck?
Yes, we do.
And we're budgeting $734 for streetlight repairs. Does that mean bulbs and lenses, or what does that mean?
Well, it means if we need to repair any street lights or decorative, that's a better word for it, street lights that we have, then sometimes we use a bucket. Nevertheless, we have to understand that our bucket is within the stormwater funds. The enterprise restricts us for utilizing any equipment that's within that enterprise out of any activity that doesn't relate to stormwater. Even though we do use it, I'm not saying we don't, but it should not be used for that purpose. It only should be used for the purpose that it is intended for, and it's within the fund, the enterprise fund, which is stormwater. Nevertheless, we bought a lift. Before I arrived at the town, we did buy a lift. The lift that we bought at the time, it was not taken into consideration the input of the team or the end user, and they bought a big lift. The lift is so big, I'm not saying that it cannot be used as to help our facility or maintain our facilities, but for the purpose to maintain the intentions of the decorate light is so huge that we will literally have to close an entire lane to be able to use to change a street light. And unfortunately, I would like to give you more input on what was the rationale behind making that decision to buy that equipment, but I was not here. And I do apologize for that.
Well, no apology. I mean, you weren't here. But buying bigger and the best, poor management again. Why do we need something that big? Because it's the most expensive one, So, not your fault. You had nothing to do with that. But among many other problems. Miscellaneous large tolls. I don't know what that means.
So let's say hypothetically I need a grinder. It's a more than a drill, so it's more expensive. Maybe it costs me $1,000 or such, and we categorize that within that venue.
All right, we already talked about the vehicle lease. I only have one or two more. I ran out of tabs, so I had to highlight. Yeah. Under 46,600 traffic signs and signals. Traffic signs, post, and equipment hardware, 16,700. A little bit more of an explanation.
So again, it's just like a placeholder for any repairs that need to be done if FDOT requires it from us.
All right, I think that was the last. Oh, no, same thing, 52,000. And I guess this might be a placeholder also. Asphalt patch, street lights, traffic cones, and barricades.
No, actually, we do buy and use material to patch. Unfortunately, the practice that we have performed in the town is to Band-Aid everything and not to fully develop an analysis and to fix things appropriately how they were required. We've been using co-patches, and co-patches is literally just
They don't work.
they're not going to be efficient. They could solve the problem at a short period, but not in a long term. So,
Okay.
but we've been using those, and we buy cones and we buy barricades as well.
So the patch, street lights, cones, and barricades, etc., whatever etc. may mean, when you say street lights under operating supplies, what does that mean?
So typically, if we need to replace a bulb or such from the decorative lights, we get it from that account. So let's say we have Lakeshore Drive, a light goes off or it goes damaged or in the park, then we go and we replace that bulb and we take it out of that account.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Commissioner.
So in essence, it's a placeholder?
Well, it's not a placeholder, it's a commodity line item, but we can't give you a specific time frame or a value that we're going to expend it all, because it's there as need. Because then if we don't have the money there and we need it, then we have to do a budget amendment, and we have to so we are anticipating for any repairs that we may need, and anticipating in terms of the co-patches. We have a lot of potholes, so we try as much as possible to amend or reprimand the problem at the short term, not at the long term that we're doing. That's why we're doing the pavement, and we ask kindly that you approve the program for the pavement.
Cold patch works great as long as you don't drive over it. That's the reality of it.
It's true.
That is why we even do cold patch. All right. A general comment. We're spending an absorbent amount of time on this budget, and this is our primary focus for the year, and it's one of the most important things we're asked to do as commissioners. And when I first spoke with Richard, the town manager, one of the things that he was hoping that we would have is a more detailed outline of what these are. When any one of us see miscellaneous, we prompt a question, all right, etc. We're going to prompt. So I'm suggesting for next year, can't do nothing this year, let's have a more detailed report from each division, all right? So when I see a number that makes no sense to me, such as in early on, and I didn't get to that, maybe we'll get to it later on, that it would make sense and we could just breeze right through this. Because if we don't have something different next year, we're going to do the same old thing and spend 2, 3, 4 nights, whatever, and that can be avoided with pre-planning. So for what it's worth. And that's, okay, thank you.
Noted, Commissioner.
Okay, Barbara, you're back up.
So I did want to just follow up on one thing Jamie said when he talked about sidewalks. We've been using the discretionary surtax money, or in the sidewalk case, it's almost $500,000, to do the repairs that we've been doing. That money ends, or it sunsets, in December. So we've not set aside any money to do sidewalks within the town, but we did set aside money within the CRA to do. So
Yeah, Mayor,
Please.
the monies that you're talking about, was that ARPA funds or something?
no.
Where's it come from?
That's the
Oh, the
1
1
cent
okay,
sale tax.
yes,
We
yeah.
That's our piece of it, so we've been
ARPA's
spending that. That bought our license plate reader. It has done some road work many years ago. There's a bunch of different things that it's done.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on streets and roads?
I think we're good there.
Okay. So now we're on to 301, or as you say, capital improvements or special projects. Oops. There's no page. Okay. So in 301, we end up budgeting the grants that we know are going to be available at the time. As new grants come in, when you approve us accepting them, there should be a budget adjustment bringing that money into the budget. So right now we've got a CDBG grant, which is for the fitness stations in Kelsey Park. We've got, I'm estimating $223,000 in discretionary surtax, that 1 cent sale tax, to come in between October and December. And then we've budgeted $2.5 million, which is unencumbered, unspent money that was from the $11 million federal CDBG grant we received to do the Burt Bostrom, the Southern Outfall, and it also did some CIPP pipelining in sections of the town. So this is for the last piece, which is on 10th. And so that's going to sit there because it's not been encumbered in a PO. It's just getting started on the design portion.
All right, do we have any questions on this, in this area of line items?
I have a question, but I feel bad about answering.
Go ahead,
That's why I'm
Commissioner.
here.
Commissioner Thomas, go ahead, please.
Because I hear what John is saying, and I just feel really bad. I don't want to be here all night. The 100, and I'm learning the budget, okay? Tomorrow I'll be forgetting it all again, but I'm learning with all my little pink tags. This was 338,100, where it says, please explain the surtax, why does it end in December? And that you said was the 1 cent. Okay. So
And
that's
because the county has achieved the amount of money it has.
that they need it, right?
That they. Unfortunately.
Oh, guess what? That's it.
Oh, okay.
Scared my own self.
Okay,
So we did 301. Gosh, it feels like we're going fast here. So now we're going to jump almost all the way to the back to the CRA,
sure,
because we have already done the marina, stormwater, and sanitation.
yeah. So you're talking 110.
110, correct. So CRA, the revenue, the ad valorem tax that comes from the county. The miscellaneous other is, this would be if we sell a piece of property in the CRA. That's what we're expecting that may be returned to us. Transfer from the general fund, that's the money from our portion of ad valorem that we needs to turn over to the CRA. And the balance brought forward is the money that's been unspent in prior years and an estimate of what's going to be unspent by the end of this fiscal year. That number could change once everything is posted, so we won't know that for a little bit longer. The CRA currently has 3 positions. You met Samantha last night, the newest, and Allison you've seen lots of, and there's a code compliance officer as well. With the hiring of Samantha, the contractual services have decreased because we're not looking for an outside agency to help us on that. Improvements, there's going to be several projects that are getting underway, and those are in improvements other than building, and then there's also money in improvement sidewalks, and you've got the detail there on what's going to be spent. Under grants and incentives, again, there are grants that are currently in process. In addition, there's money set aside for new grants to come to be applied for during the year. So, questions?
Commissioner Thomas.
I have a question. When we do our property of the month, is that considered like a grant? Like when we do the properties of the month? And the reason why I'm asking, like, I'm sure that there are properties that are in the CRA, right, that we have designated, or because we don't discriminate in regards to the property of the month, right?
Property of the month are recommended by the code compliance officers.
Yeah, but that, like, for example, if you find a property that's within the CRA, right? That money, it wouldn't be coming out of the general fund since it's in.
They get a sign and a gift card.
So, I mean, would that be considered like under a grant? No. What would it be? Like that? Oh, so they fund it all regardless of where it's at? Mm-hmm. Okay. The reason why I'm saying that is that I started thinking the money that we give out for our property of the month, we really need to do better. That $50 is not even a plant, like, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I think that now and the reason why I'm saying it is that it should be more of an incentive for people to really want to do something with the property. Yes, I get this sign that's up here, but then I only get a $50 card, and if I'm a gardener and really spending some time in my yard, right, it really should be an incentive. Like, yeah, I might get $100 or something like that. And that's the reason why I was asking if it was a grant, and then if it was coming out of the CRA, is that something that really could have been, or is that considered marketing, or or what would that be considered?
Well, I'm wondering, can it be taken from your beautification funding? Let us look at that and let us make a recommendation. Because that way it's not coming out of general fund, it's coming out of code dollars that are coming back to us anyway, and we're reinvesting back into the community, which I think is what the program's meant to do.
Yeah, and it should. And I would like to increase, what I mean? Like, increase it, because then it's not just a big sign that's, but something that's really showcasing, whether it's equipment, because it costs to keep your property nice.
We can take a look at that.
Yeah.
Let me just add to that. I totally agree. Having been on my first property a month, and, well, we'll talk about that later on, but the house or the lawns, manicured, everything's perfect. These people have put some money into that. So I would support something like an increase. What I was surprised that they weren't expecting anything. And at least that's the way they came across. But in today's world, lunch costs $50, so, for two.
Without a tip, that is.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Without a tip.
Without a tip, yeah. Yeah, we'll get into tipping culture.
But the budget item we're talking about is $600 right now. So,
Yeah.
I think we could all agree that $1,200 would not really put us in a financial bind.
No. I don't want to talk about property of the month. My mother lets me know that she was property of the month every other day. It's a battle on corner to corner.
It's a nice honor.
It's a wonderful honor. But when you're
You know, and just a continuation, I really don't know, but it's just that we're talking about property. I know the county has, you know, that cleanup property, you know, what is it? Cleanup? It's something. Cleanup property. I mean, something cleanup. It's not really like Amnesty Day. It's like property cleanup or something like that, right? And typically, I know Ms. Steele has done a clean up the sidewalk here in town. But yeah, we had a crew. But also too, I don't think we have like designated something like that. That's something too that we as a town could possibly try and
Stay tuned.
stay tuned. Don't say anything else.
Yeah, just stay
Okay,
tuned.
stay tuned. Shut up.
I didn't say shut
No,
up,
I mean,
but I
it's
meant
like
stay
stay tuned,
tuned.
so I won't
Yes.
say anymore.
Yes,
But
yes.
Mr. Mayor, oh, sorry.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Just wanted to say, you know, we did change a little bit of the property of the month to where you all are there, and I just want to say thank you for participating. You know, I know in the past maybe that wasn't the case, but I wanted to say thank you all for being available. I know it's sometimes early in the morning or could be a little inconvenient with your schedules, but it really means a lot. So thank you all for
Oh,
being
you're very
available,
welcome.
and thank you for covering the other day.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we all participate as councilmen and women.
I did it on Wednesday. It was just awesome, meeting the people that you know, sometimes the woman it was her house. She works all the time, so but she stayed home because it was a big event for her. So it's a wonderful part of what we do in the town. So
All right, so getting
But
back
can
to
we
this-
get back to
to the CRA?
thank you.
Yes.
Any questions?
Any questions here on the CRA, Commissioner O'Rourke?
Yes. Show me what line we have where it shows what we owe in bonds.
Okay, way down the bottom of the second page, under Other Uses, you see a transfer to the General Fund ILA 2008.
Can you give me a line number?
Oh,
Are you talking about the 381?
91010.
Okay.
Sorry.
That amount, and I'm looking at 468.9. That's a bond amount that we owe, and
That's the Bank of America that we're going to pay off early.
okay, those are the magic words I was waiting to
Cool.
hear.
Okay.
What, no, please elaborate on that, though. Tell me what's going on.
So the Bank of America, the town had taken a loan, or it was broken up into 3 loans for multiple items within the CRA, including property acquisition. There was marina improvements, there was the town bus, there were other items in their pension settlement, and we've been paying that loan back since 2008.
Okay.
You were on the dais a couple of years ago when you voted to pay off the piece of the 2009 loan that was attached to the 800 Park building. So it was approximately $100,000. Yes, so we're doing the same thing, is paying off the CRA's portion early.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if we get the Marine to have a little bit more money, we'll pay that one off early
I'm so
too.
glad that you remembered, because I remember that was a big thing of the then mayor to get through all our debts.
I just remember how hard it was to get Bank of America to take the money.
Yeah,
It was very strange.
that was a big win.
Yeah.
And I'm just bringing that up because I think that as a policy, and really our budget, this whole workshop is really a discussion about policy, what we're willing to spend our money on. As far as the CRA goes, it's very important as a policy decision to pay down our debts, because if there is something we really want to do in our downtown area, to be able to bond out and go from a financial standing of having no debt already, it gives us a much better rate. It becomes cheaper in the long run, so to borrow the money to do that.
And that's the specific reason behind doing this now, because we do want to bond soon, very soon.
Okay. Any questions here? Commissioner Linden?
Yes, I'm a little confused why we need a financial consultant at $8,000.
I will let Allison explain that to you.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Allison Justice, CRA Administrator. This is a contract we've had for the last 2 years. The financial consultant, the first year, we were an interim in our finance director. He has helped over many CRAs. He prepared the budget, as well as this year prepares the annual report. So pulls all of the property records, works with the property appraiser on all of the new construction, all of the financials that we need to report at the end of each March for the CRA. He had a $35,000 contract. This is what's remaining in his contract.
When does that contract expire, time or money?
It will likely be when it's out of money first.
All right, and as I had mentioned earlier, under a different line item, other professional services, this is 31,000. Under other professional services, $15,000. What is other?
Yes. In the CRA, because we are constantly maneuvering and having new things come up that we like to do, it is a fund that we can use for professional services if they come up. Obviously, it falls within procurement, but it's kind of a placeholder for something that may come up during the year that we need to do within the CRA.
All right, so it's a placeholder. There's no designated
There's
distribution for it.
There's no designated distribution at this point.
I'm only going to touch upon this because there's been a lot of going on 34,000 about the landscaping. Phones are lighting up, people are complaining, and it does look not quite as nice as it could. Let's just leave it go at that. For $188,250, and I know that Public Works is going to help initially. Who's going to make the final decision on what landscaper we're going to use? The board? You? Who?
So last night on the City Commission meeting, you approved the rankings of the landscapers. So you selected Chris Wayne and Associates will be the landscape company. We will be negotiating with them next week. I hope to have a contract by the 17th on the CRA. We'll have a special CRA meeting for you to approve, so we can get them going on the landscaping.
No affiliation to the previous one we hired.
It is not. It is not.
We're spending, well, we got hit bad on that one. Yeah, real bad.
Yeah,
That's a good way to put it.
That
yeah.
was what she said last night.
That's fine. I'm done. That's good.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
this
sir.
is another area with all of our landscaping costs that we're going to be analyzing and making a determination or making a recommendation at some point. Should we bring these services in-house? Do we continue to contract? So we're going to look at all these cost-benefit analysis as we go forward.
Yeah.
So.
Vice Mayor.
Excuse me. I do have a question about the landscaping. I was going to ask some, but Commissioner Linden took it for me. The landscaping company, are they putting in new plants now?
I have in the budget, I do have some additional landscaping in the budget for that, because I've done a walkthrough with another landscaper, and we talked about different plants that needed to be replaced, some that weren't maintained or weren't functioning well. We had some annuals on the end. I don't know that I think we need to put a good perennial in there. So they'll make the recommendations of what plants need to be replaced, but that will be after the initial cleanup. One of the things we do is walk through and see what needs to be replaced and cleaned up. I know that they're excited and want to make it pristine.
And when they make the recommendation of the plants will then come back here? Or you guys would go?
No, that would just be, that would be selected by Public Works and, based on their expertise and what they recommend. I don't. Yeah.
The-
Okay, I was just wondering because I don't know much about plants,
Nice color.
but I know they kind of, some grow, wow, I'm a pine tree guy, but I was like, maybe we can get the tree board kind of involved, take a look or something that the residents might want to take. And
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Take down the palm tree?
No, I want you to put up more palm
To
trees.
offer feedback.
If you,
Turning and gold should not be one of them.
if you lean on and ask the tree board, that would probably be the best thing for this town, because while we don't employ a horticulturist, the director, who's the?
The chair.
Chair, thank you. The chair is as close as you'd ever get to a horticulturist, and he knows plants and trees like nobody. He also has, and he lives in the town naturally. So I would highly suggest that he's involved at any step that you could possibly use him in.
Well, I will tell you as a board, when we went out for this request for qualifications, we did it very specifically to make sure they had landscape experience, landscape architects that they could recommend. That was one of the areas where we were lacking, was they did maintenance, they didn't understand plant species and how to maintain those plant species. So this company does have that experience. That was one of the recommendations we needed and wanted when we hired. So I think you'll see that they have a lot of expertise, including an arborist, which is part of the requirements as well. So we'll have to trim the trees before the holiday lights go up. So.
Yes.
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I laugh because I actually watched the score sheet and I noticed Anders score a lopsided victory, and I asked him why, and he had a whole packet on the company on why.
Yeah.
Anders Wood, yes.
Ran it off to me.
Anders Wood. And by the way, both of the companies that applied were very qualified and have a lot of experience with municipalities. So.
Prior to the final decision being made, as Vice Mayor has mentioned, I wouldn't mind looking at that ourselves. Not that any one of us are an expert at it, but some of us have more than others. I'm not one of those. But that's why I suggested to stay in-house and let someone like that, having had the opportunity to work on the Planning and Zoning Board for almost a year and a half, Judith has a tremendous knowledge. Yes, she does. You'd hear her all the time. But that's quite a bit of money, and the downtown is our selling spot. Somebody drives through that, and it looks like it does today. We're not even going to get into the buildings and the blight that's there, but it needs to look overly attractive. And with the holidays coming up, the number of people that walk through there, it's just quite amazing. So that's our selling point. One of them.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a very good one. So, any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Jamie. Barbara, the floor is yours.
All right, so.
Wait, I have one more. I'm sorry.
Come on. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You complaining because there's a game on or something?
No, I like long
Starting
meetings.
a gold or a
I'm
blue
missing
and
the
silver.
football game, but that's okay.
I'm
Not
okay.
yet, not
We're,
yet. Keep
we're hoping
going,
that
guys.
Dallas loses. I think it's 3, it may have been 4 years that we have paid for this Christmas tree. I understand the old one was getting a little tattered and beat up, but a deal was made, and not all of us agreed on it years ago, that we rent a tree. We buy a tree, but we hire a company to come in, set the tree up, light it, disassemble it, take it away. But they're also charging us to store it every year. And if we're into $90,000 for a tree, 3 years at $30,000, that's $90,000. And if we don't take a different look and a different approach, the stories are we got nowhere to put it, we have nowhere to store it. But we do have property that we could utilize for a storage place. But have you looked in or given that any thought, or is that just...
I certainly have, and just so you all are aware, because this will be coming before you, this is the last year of the contract. We had a 3-year contract with Brandano Designs. They are the ones that do the holiday lights, as well as the Christmas tree, the menorah, and the Kinara, and they rent those, so they bring all the lights in, again, like you said, and so next year we're going to have to go out to bid on all of this and all of these items, so I believe it's the right time to have the discussion. After this year, we will certainly consider the options for that, because there will be some changes likely that will be made.
Yeah, because mid-December, what people constantly coming through, they were still putting lights up, and the figures that move. So that'll be a good conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, we have...
Glad it's winding down.
Yeah, thank you. We've spoken to them about that, where they're supposed to be installing mid-October. We've had some challenges, but it does
Thank
look
you.
beautiful.
Good. Looking forward to that.
Vice Mayor, you have anything? We're good on this side? Yep.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison.
Okay, Barbara.
All right, so our last piece is CIP. This is our first year presenting a capital improvement plan. As we go forward, we'll make it better. We'll make it more detailed. What we tried to do is separate by funds. You've got one for the general funds, sanitation, stormwater, and the CRA. We've listed what department is using the equipment, the description of the equipment, and where we expect the funds to come from, and what year we expect to purchase the item. It should be all the way at the back of the book, the very last tab. It just says CIP on it.
We're good.
Okay, so in 2026, we're looking to do the Pro Shop Pavilion windows and doors, the library doors to make them ADA compliant, and those will use a discretionary surtax to fund. The Town Hall Preservation Grant, where we're looking at the doors that don't work back here and the possibility of shifting you security-wise to a better place. That is also coming out of discretionary funds as well as a partially grant-funded. The $940,800 represents that $470,000 that's in the public improvement fund, plus the 50% match on a grant to do something in the Kelsey Park and Master Plan. Depending upon the grants that are available, we'll come to you with the appropriate projects and you'll decide. And then the last piece is, of course, the $2.5 million that is already budgeted in 301 for the final portion of, I call it the $11 million grant, because it's a stormwater grant, but you have to give it a catchy name, and catchy is 11 million to me. Going forward into 27, there's some small vehicle replacements. Public Works is looking to replace the fuel dispensing system as well as their diesel fuel tank. We've got IT looking to start replacing desktops with laptops and the purchase of more laptops. So we did not have the money to start that project this year, so you see 2 years' worth of funding in 2027. Additionally, the clock tower sound system, park benches townwide, a records retention area. The town clerk is wanting something special like that because she doesn't like that trailer over at Burt Bostrom anymore. Traffic control devices, the Park Avenue lane reduction, road improvements in various locations. This would be in addition to the money that's budgeted already in the CRA for this year. So Jamie's got a lovely report, and we've started planning to continue these improvements on a regular basis. Additionally, there's more money funded for sidewalks going forward. And the last piece is the septic to sewer. As funding becomes available, these may shift earlier or later or be delayed because no funding is available, but it's an idea of what is coming. Any questions on, this would be general fund public improvement?
I just have one question. I know at one of our CRA meetings, there was the discussion about the 800 building upon possibility of proposals for sale. At that time, there was talk about improving the pavilion to have a bathroom, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Oh, the pro shop, okay.
So the question I have is not necessarily on that part, but the budgeted part for that bathroom that will come later once that process here. But it is included. Where again is that? That's a part of that doors. I mean, you see the doors and windows, the pro shop. Where is that part?
That was where we added the additional.
We've added money in there to get the bathroom included, because if we sell the 800 building,
Correct, on the event of.
we
right.
need to put Michael someplace.
Okay. Where, is it on this part of the?
Yes.
Where exactly again?
So it's where you see the, good Lord, it just disappeared.
Because I would have thought it.
There, Pro Shop Pavilion Doors and Windows, it's there. We added $10,000 in there.
So at 87, hold on, Pro Shop Windows Doors. That 144 total includes $10,000?
41,000.
Where is, okay, the next one down. Okay, thank you. Well, that 41,000, I'm lining that up with.
Pro
Yeah,
Shop
okay, the windows and doors. So that 41,000 includes the 10,000.
for bathrooms.
Okay. No, you just didn't say that. That's why I was asking. If you could just add that.
I scribbled it down, so I can add that in there.
Okay, thank you.
Where's Vivian? Where's Vivian? Because I wanted to, okay, because I wanted to ask her about the records retention. It was, something at, yeah, good. Yeah, good. Last time, I talked about what would be a good place as opposed to keeping it stored in the, and we're talking about capital improvement, so this could be in the future. And I saw 8,000, but what's that 8,000 for? Because I would think that it would be a little bit more having for you to remove it from there and finding it in some type of,
What we did was we went to local storage facility websites.
Yeah,
So the ones that are like on Water Tower Road, for an example.
Yeah.
And just found what they had, their largest unit, how much it would cost per month for an extended period of time. And
Okay.
so that's where
That
those
money comes from?
roundabout numbers would come from.
Really, and that would be like for the whole year? Or what would that be?
I
Because
can't,
it's like 8,000, that would be like for the whole year?
I can't verify
Yeah.
100% in this moment, but I do have a breakdown of what that entailed,
Uh-huh.
including sending them off to the state.
Have them digitized?
and-
Okay.
No, we have
No.
them already digitized.
Okay.
These are documents that the
That has to
state-
keep,
Right,
right.
the state will not recognize as original because they have the embossed sign
The
and
embossed,
seal.
yeah, uh-huh, yeah, seals on them? Uh-huh.
So we have to keep the actual originals. And so there are different avenues that we could look at.
Yes.
And one of them was a local storage facility.
Yes.
An Iron Mountain, for example.
right.
But the state also has facilities in Tallahassee that we could send them to. So that number that you have is just a ballpark of
Okay.
what it would cost us, not only transporting the documents, but then if we needed a retrieve. So,
And that would be
I-
all of
and-
the documents that are currently stored?
correct.
Over there?
Because we have, I don't remember the square footage, but John Willie went over, estimated the square footage, and based on that square footage, that's where we then knew the size that we would need of a storage unit or of a facility.
The facility for,
So it's just kind of a rounded number. If we needed to, we would then, figure out what would be the best avenue for us to move in.
is there like a statute of limitations of, okay, I know certain documents have to be stored for a
Correct.
certain length of time?
Correct.
Those that are embossed, is there a statute of limitations of when those then get removed?
Right.
Okay,
When the
yeah. Do
property
we-
is
do we-
demolished is when that document is then no longer,
Do we have, do you have any documents actually that will not need to be stored or removed within the next year or two? Do you have any categories of documents that you would no longer need to store in that way, like in the next couple of years?
the only documents that we have at the storage facility are those that are permanent.
That we have to keep into
Have to
perpetuity?
keep. Those documents in which we have to keep for shorter periods of time have been kept within each of the departments because it's such a small number.
Okay,
It's not as we used to.
keep
Mo-
everything, yeah.
Correct.
Some of those things could be digitized and you can just keep it in
Correct.
that land, okay,
Right, because the state will recognize those as the originals.
okay, okay. Mr. Morales?
Yes, Commissioners, just to add a little bit component to this challenge, you will, or the Commissioners will receive a update on the facility or the trailer and the current condition. And just to give you an FYI, there's a lot of termites. The trailer is not in the best condition possible. So we may have to probably expedite the relocation of the files or the record retentions that we have there, and also additional equipment that we have from IT. We have Christmas ornaments and other materials that we store there, because literally the trailer is little by little, the termites are eating it. So you will receive a full report on the condition and our recommendations in terms of what's in the contents and what should we do.
Have you thought, when you bring it to us, would you also, I don't know where you are, if you've even thought about it, but will you also bring to us what it would be to remove it and to destroy it? I mean,
Absolutely, the
Okay.
commission cost. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this? Commissioner,
Very quickly, I understand this is our plan for the upcoming years, but I'm going to single in on this year's budget. The rear view camera, the trailer, the steel building, it's in another section. That has not been approved yet. We'll have more discussion on that. But what really I wonder about is this stormwater assessment. This is an enterprise fund, correct?
Correct.
Is there, and the enterprise fund, it increases every year with a small percentage.
According,
Is there talk to increase that percentage
to cover these?
to cover any and all of these? We're talking some serious money here.
No. These would be funded within the existing assessment.
All right, so this has nothing to do with anyone getting assessed individually in the town, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Good question. Vice Mayor, you have anything? No? Okay, we're all good over here. Okay.
So what Commissioner Linden was talking about was the next page, which is the stormwater piece of the capital improvement plan. For 2026, we're fully funding a vac truck replacement, a trailer, a commercial steel building, a quick view camera, and a mad vac, which I believe Jamie explained when we looked at the stormwater's budget, was a smaller piece of equipment that can go around and pull debris out of culverts, etc.
Okay.
Okay?
Commissioner O'Rourke.
I'm going to suggest that you add something to CIP. That town bus is horrible. I have nothing more to say.
Yeah.
Yes,
The one
It's
we, the
horrible.
one we actually take to
the
like,
leaky one, yeah,
A leaky one.
yeah. Right? Reuniti, you want to come up and tell me how nice that bus is? No, I cannot go in there.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I'm good. I think we should add that. That's not a vehicle that we want to put our kids in, so.
how long have we had that?
That was part of the Bank of America funding back in 2008.
2008, yeah.
2008?
Yeah.
Okay.
Town manager, I have,
Commissioner Thomas.
sorry,
That's okay.
town manager, this is something that you and I have like spoken about, and one of the issues that I have is the security of us and access in and out of here. And I know it's a CIP, but I think it's something that we seriously really need to start thinking about. First of all, just the overall design, of this chambers doesn't lend itself for what it is that we do. If you're doing a presentation, they're coming around, they have to come in front of the audience. I'm sure too they feel uncomfortable being the center of attention while someone else is speaking there. But also just the safety of it, in the fact that everyone comes behind us and not there. It is something that I've talked about. It's very uncomfortable because it doesn't create a safe space just overall for us. And I'm just thinking that we probably should start looking at some type of programming for it. Yeah. I just didn't see that as part of the CIP. I know it's a wish list in a sense, but it's something too that we need to somehow start to look at and improve. And then the other thing is that I'm constantly doing this all the time. I probably now have ostrich neck. But this right here.
Yeah, we can look at all of that and if you all recall, when Jamie brought forward the contract for the engineering firm to do work here in Town Hall for the preservation of Town Hall. Oh, there you are.
So, Commissioner, just to give you an anticipation, we propose for next meeting, the 17th, I believe, September 17th, we have the engineer that we selected. He's going to do a presentation to the commission on the improvements that are proposed for the historical preservation grant, and at the same time, he's going to get the input and bring some input towards the layout and the possibility of the rearrangement of the chambers. So we're preparing that for next commission meeting. Okay.
Something for us to look through.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
And, funding can be, if we're able to do it in this upcoming year, funding, we have some money in contingency that we can maybe look at. So, or we'll fund it in next year's budget, but we'll figure it out. But this will be important to get this going. So thank you. That's
okay.
Additionally, you have a CIP sheet for sanitation. In 2026, we're showing the purchase of a side loader and a front loader. those are the trucks that have been on order since COVID, and they're expected by December. Fingers crossed. Additionally, we're looking at using some savings, some investment savings that the sanitation fund has to start saving to get a front-end loader and a grapple truck. Those are the other two items that are in 2026. So that money is already here. It is not going to be included on a line item in the budget because it's already sitting in an investment account. In 2027, we have a grapple truck and a rear loader truck that we will again purchase through finance. We'll again set aside more money for the other two trucks that we started in 2026. And in 2028, there'll be one more truck financed, a side loader for $413,000 approximately $1,000. And after that, we want to make sure we're self-funding our trucks so we no longer have to finance them going forward. So you'll see where when you start shifting out over to 2030, you'll see 3 other trucks where we're going to start in 3 years, put the money aside. On the end of the third year, we purchase the truck and we start again. So when we come back next year, you're going to see all the trucks we have so that you can see when they came in and when we need to start putting money aside for them. These are just the ones that we know right now.
No, I like this because we're spreading it out, which means we're keeping more money in the event of.
And sanitation, unlike stormwater, just hasn't been able to get ahead.
Correct.
With the plan for a variety of reasons, but we want to make sure we're doing that in the future.
Strategy. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. And our thought is, you know, if we can start paying for these projects over a couple of years, not only will we have the money in the bank, but we'll be earning interest to help lower down our final payment. So rather than paying interest, we'll be earning interest to help, you know, save dollars, save assessment dollars in this case, but tax dollars down the line. And so, and what it'll also allow us to do is have more of a level understanding of our operating expenses on in every year. So rather than having a spike, in capital costs, we'll be on a level basis throughout, and that'll allow us to be more productive and provide better services. And if something does come up, we can be more prepared to deal with it. So I appreciate Barbara and Jamie, working through that. So, and we'll, as we go through the leasing analysis and all of that, we would propose that we would incorporate this type of savings type plan or reserve type plan, throughout the budget, as we go forward.
Well, Barbara, I just want to say thank you. I know this has not been easy for you being a one woman show.
I had a lot of support.
But I give you kudos to going through this. I understand the severity of the time it took for you to get through this, as well as answering questions, as well as conducting your normal business, and also taking the feedback from all of us commissioners and how we could evolve this in the future years moving forward. So I want to say thank you. I commend you. I commend staff as a whole, as always. And thank you as well, town manager, and great work.
Thank you.
Great work.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could, I just want to say thank you also to Barbara and to our entire staff. Everyone really put in a lot of hours. And again, as we go forward, it'll be, a little bit easier every time, but going to an Excel spreadsheet and doing it manually is time consuming. So I really appreciate Barbara's effort. There are a couple of other items that we do want to just make sure that we talk about real quickly. Barbara, do you want to go through those super quick?
Sure. So I have a short list. We talked about the gas tax and getting the information from that. The other one that we were waiting on was the communication service tax, and that one will come in at about $3,400 higher than what we budgeted, so I'll make that change. We talked about the insurance. Since we now have the insurance approved, we'll move forward and change those numbers. Additionally, we're going to budget about $100,000 in potential claim payouts based upon what is in the pipeline now for particular claims that have been filed. That way it won't be a surprise when it settles and we have to figure out how to fund any settlement or payment that has to be made. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
We have, while Barbara's looking, we have the $10,000 that you all approved, for yesterday to join the lawsuit. So we'll add that in, or, we'll shift dollars in the legal budget, to show that. And then also, at an upcoming meeting, we're going to be presenting the request to change how the funding is proposed for the PDD study. So rather than it be in the general fund, we're proposing that it be a CRA expense, so that we move it out of the CRA or into the CRA. And that funding in the general fund, what I would recommend, and we talked about it, previously, but what we would like to do is move that money that was in the general fund, forward that for the strategic plan. So we have the funding to go forward to do that going forward. The other thing that we're looking to forward or carry forward is our ShotSpotter software cost. What we're looking to do is, and you'll see this when we bring forward the sheriff's contract or the amendment, is have the piggyback essentially off of whatever the sheriff is using. We'll get a better rate. The sheriff will send us an invoice and we'll pay them directly. So that way we won't contract with the vendor directly. And if they go with a different vendor that works better for us and covers the entire town at the same cost, that'll be better for us overall. So what we would propose to do is carry that money forward from current year budget and add that into next year's budget on top of what we're already budgeting. So if you all are okay with that, and if you had anything else.
The only other thing I have is human resources. I'm going to increase the training budget a little bit toward a certification for the current employee that we're reformulating the position there. So we want to start her on a path towards certification. So once I get that number from her, I'll be able to increase that. We got everything else.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay.
All are okay with that, those changes?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We are. Okay, again, thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. And if you'll leave...
And thank you again to staff. Again, I know it's all about the collective, so when I think Barbara, it extends out to you as well. So thank you all.
And if you'll leave your books, I'll start putting new pages in as I revise. And that way they'll be ready for Monday. And I'll have a list of the things that I changed, so you won't have to figure out where in all of this something is different.
Okay. I do want to get to these public comment cards because I want to thank those that are here to speak on it. And I want to give them the opportunity to speak. So I will start off with Mr. Michael Steinhauer. And just to let you know, Mr. Steinhauer, for the record, I have distributed your testimonies to everybody on the dais.
Yeah, public hearing.
Michael Steinhauer, 435 Greenbrier Drive. I want to thank the commissioners, town manager, the finance director, and the staff for all their work spent preparing a proposed budget. Concurrently, I sense that you are aware of the growing resident resentment, specifically around department heads and administration salaries, and any considered increase in that sector. Your responsibility is to be good stewards of tax dollars. Every dollar we approve for salaries cannot be used for maintaining infrastructure, supporting public safety, or providing essential services. When many residents are facing rising costs of living, from groceries to property taxes, it simply feels burdensome to increase the spending on already excessive administrative salaries. Many hardworking families in this community haven't seen raises that keep pace with inflation, and yet we're being asked to approve increases upon residents who feel tapped out. Furthermore, and I may be too simplistic about this, but outside of union contracts, salary increases should be tied directly to individual measurable performance. Before considering giving every single town employee a merit increase of 3% across the board, and I don't see how that's individualized, we need to have clear benchmarks showing how a raise will improve efficiency, accountability, or the quality of services delivered. Otherwise, we risk approving spending without evidence of benefit, something you never do. The excuse about having to pay excessive wages to attract and retain quality people is old and unproven. Two ideas come to mind. One is to freeze all town expenses of any kind for a one-year period and live off the budget experience we've had the past year. With Forest Development's future lease and tax payments now uncertain, we cannot plan budget projections around this revenue stream. We lived well enough under the current budget terms, and we can better study competitive salary ranges with more accurate and relevant research than the one that D'Agostino used to justify his generosity to earn loyalty. Second, I also would consider no merit or COLA increases for all employees making above $100,000. We would witness a substantial saving for the town with a one-year freeze in that sector. No employee making over $100,000 will resign in protest and find a better paying employment than Lake Park. These ideas position us for a stronger fiscal house with more accurate budget projections, and to have saved money for projects like a mixed-use community center or a new commission's room. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Perhacs, you may come up. And just for the record, Mr. Perhacs has a PowerPoint presentation that he will be presenting along with his 3-minute public comment.
Yes, and Pablo Perhacs, taxpayer. I've sent a copy of this to the email addresses of all the people on the dais. You can look at it again. This first slide was from the 2025 budget. It shows the hierarchy, the ranking that the town considers to be important. You notice that citizens are at the top. Okay. Madam Clerk, which button? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to skip over this one, but as the previous slide showed real quickly, many of these departments are equated. That's not true according to the town charter. Only 2 of them are town officers, they being the clerk and the director of finance. Everybody else in red is discretionary and can be outsourced. This is what I believe is the proper presentation of the town. Residents, commission manager, new HR. You've heard me say that I think the commissioners deserve a double salary. It's going to cost the town $78,000. Of course, if you go to 1 meeting a month, I trust that you will then cut your current salaries in half. You've seen this before. I went back for 10 years. This is the increase of salaries for the clerk, finance director, community development, and the communications director. This is a graph of the previous slide. This is the meat of my presentation. You have 2 divisions in this town which are mandated by the town charter and called town officers. They are the town clerk, the deputy clerk, and finance director. I'm asking you to take the budget that was spent for the former assistant town manager, divide it this way, give the town clerk and the finance director raises to equal that of the IT department director, and then give the deputy town clerk same raise, or a raise that's up there. This can all be taken out of the budget that was already spent last year. This will not incur additional costs. It will additionally leave $167,000 in change to be distributed, as Mr. Linden said, to the lower employees. I don't think there's anybody in this room who can dispute the fact that the town clerk and the town finance director are stellar employees. They are absolutely the best, and I've worked with many of them, and I thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I will say that Sue Fontaine will follow up with the rest of this.
Thank you for segueing to Ms. Fontaine, because that's who I was calling next, Ms. Sue Fontaine.
Good evening, and thank you again for all your hard work. I look at this book, it's just mind-blowing what you guys have to dig through. So what I've done, at the last budget workshop, I shared a handout with you of the monetary and percentage increase in 4 of the highest salaries over the past 5 years. I don't know whether those salaries were reasonable and deserved or not. I was just pointing out what residents see and get alarmed at, such as 25% salary increases. You've also brought up the salaries of the lowest paid employees, and since you have a huge amounts of data to review, I went through the last 10 years' budgets to get you some of that information. I hope you find it useful. And that's what this is that you got passed out.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to help out. That's just all the lowest paid salaries of your employees. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the record, we did distribute that to the dais. Mary Taylor.
Good evening. Hope everybody's doing okay tonight, better than I am. I have no doubt that Mr. Reed and the entire commission had the best interest of the children of this town. I know that, although there are differences of opinion how to best serve their needs. Last night I heard enthusiasm when you were talking about the new sod and the need for a sports program in Lake Park. Children, boys, girls of all ages, even adults, need to get out away from their screens and their AC. This is Florida, fresh air and sea breeze. I want to see the old ball field come alive with lots of lights and equipment. Please make it happen soon. Now, that has been missing for way too long. I would like to follow up on a comment I presented last evening about carefully considering the spending of $117,230 for a contract to promote the building of a community center at Burt Bostrom's Park. Today I received several inquiries about the expenditure. I agreed with the resident callers that I too thought the expenditure was yet another waste of taxpayer money for another study that could change before the event happened. At the same time, trying to replace a valuable treasured part of our history, the large athletic park on 7th Street. This is a card that George Lindley, does anybody know him? He's the executive director of the Palm Beach County Sports Commission. I ran across him a couple years ago. It's been a while, but when I did talk to him, he wanted to really get involved. I told him about our field, was getting the baffles and everything. I said, we're going to put a new field there. He was very excited. Well, I don't know how excited he was. Maybe he was just acting like that because I was. But he wanted to get involved with, the field. He said, this is my job. He said, this is what I do. And so I've made a copy of what I did tonight, and I put I couldn't copy this because it's so light, it wouldn't copy onto the page with his number and all. So I put it on the page, and I was just hoping maybe somebody may follow up. And who knows, it may be something that might work out, that he may be helpful and give some tips or some, advice or some money or something to get that field going, because I really, really want to see those kids out there playing as soon as possible. And maybe it's already all scheduled and I don't know about it. Hopefully that's the case, because I know I love that park, and all the kids need it. It's needed. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for providing us that information as well, Ms. Taylor. That's it for tonight. I'm going to open the floor for any comments that are needed prior to our end of our workshop. Town Manager, do you have any comments you want to add?
Ms. Mendez, could you maybe just kind of give the schedule for Monday and what the plan is? Thank you.
I'm just pulling out the calendar to verify, but we are here Monday evening at 5:30 to review the CRA budget. So there is a CRA budget workshop starting at 5:30 on Monday. At 6:30, we begin the first public hearing on our budget.
This month.
Monday, September 8th. We can't meet any sooner because of, besides that today's Thursday. But the county and school board and all that. So our first public hearing is on Monday. Our second and final public hearing on our budget is on Thursday, September 18th. And that, again, is the day after our regular commission. On Thursday, the 18th, that meeting will begin at 6:30.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Has the county published their budget requirements? They post before we do, right?
I don't know which date this week they were having their meeting, but they
would have had to follow the same statutory
Right.
Correct.
So yes, they should have.
So will we go over that on Monday to understand? Well, they're going to talk about the ad valorem numbers, right? That's what the county does.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a Barbara and town manager question. I'm not
Okay,
able,
so I'm just
I'm
wondering
not able to answer that
where
question.
we're going to be with the ad valorem from the county. Because that number can change. I mean, we went, that's the funny thing about doing a budget is everything can change.
Yeah. Well, we feel confident in the property appraiser's office. But if something does change significantly, of course, we'll come back and bring it to you. So
Okay.
if something
And
changes.
when I say the county, I mean all. I mean the school district, all of those things.
And I'm very confident in the property appraiser's office as well.
But because we, normally we do have the CRA approve the budget. We have our CRA meeting at 5:30. So we'll propose as staff to the board the CRA budget that you've reviewed tonight for the formality of approving it prior to first reading of the budget, which will happen at 6:30. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that.
And just to provide a little information I looked up for you, Commissioner O'Rourke, September 9th, 2025 is the first public hearing for the County Commission. September 16th is the second public hearing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, any other comments?
That's all I have. Again, I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your willingness to look at things a little differently and than what we've done in the past. And again, I can't thank our staff, Barbara, everyone, just for all your help and support through this process. So thank you, and have a good night.
Anything from, not yet, but anything from the commission for any comment? Commissioner Linden?
Okay, thank you. There's been no changes to this book other than the items you talked about tonight. So should we assume that this is the final version that the public's going to see? Because I got some issues throughout this entire book, and nothing's been changed. And when are we going to have time to discuss that?
Well, that's what this process was, to identify changes that you wanted to make. So that's what we've been going through the workshop, was to identify changes that the commission as a majority wanted to make throughout the process. So now that we've gone through that and we've heard any changes that you have talked about, we'll make those changes, provide you with the clean pages in the revised version. If you want to leave your books, we'll do that like we've done. But going into Monday, based on what we had tonight and the previous workshops, that's where we would go forward with our final budget.
So there will be some revisions other than the 3 or 4 you mentioned at the close.
And if you guys had spoken about any throughout the workshop, those would be the other changes.
Because would they also need a vote?
That's what you'll be doing on Monday. You'll be voting on first reading of the budget on Monday. And then on the 17th? The 18th, excuse me. That would be your second and final reading of not only the budget, but also the millage rate, setting the millage rate.
Let me try this. If we bring up a change and it's not in the book come Monday, we'll have a chance to discuss that.
Yes.
And will it take a vote on that separate issue prior to the vote on the first reading?
Yes, sir.
All right, so any and all changes need to have approval with the majority vote. Okay.
Okay, anything over here? Commissioner Thomas?
What kind of format would it be in? Would it be rather concise? I don't necessarily need like this voluminous, book. Again, I was just thinking that for each of the areas that were significantly discussed, that we could have, a couple of sheets that would let us know here, these are the areas that are going to be amended. Because I don't necessarily want to go back through all of this, and I think it takes a lot of time on your part as well to try to reprint all of this again for us. So how were you envisioning us to come back with this? Because this in itself took 3 weeks.
What we'll do is we'll provide you with a resolution to consider, and then behind it there'll be a rolled up budget, by department, by fund, and then, if that's how we would normally do it. This will be available as backup, but the intent is that this was the opportunity to provide changes that we would need to make, prior to the first reading.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was saying earlier about the PDF. If we go next year to like a cloud storage, we all have our devices here. We can pretty much use that, and then the cloud, the files are there. Any changes could be uploaded right there and then, and you're not carrying this big guy around with you. So just food for thought for next year, nothing to think about right now.
Absolutely, great. But going back real quickly, so when I say rolled up, what we'll do is we'll take each department show, what their total cost is of expenditures or proposed expenditures, and that would be your backup, and that would be your reference going forward. It wouldn't be, by each line.
Yeah, it won't be this again.
No.
Okay,
No.
so
It
right.
might be attached as backup, but that would not be what we're proposing for you to consider.
And
Right.
so, I mean, because I would think if we had no change in a particular tab, then it will just be, say Marina, no change.
Yeah.
Right? And then we'll just keep moving it on.
Or it'll just show what that total budget is that
Okay,
you've
and then
approved.
okay.
Yeah.
That could be
Or
done
what
even,
you- what
even
you
then
went
by
forward
PDF, because each file will represent the line item, and then you could put in the file name
I
and
think-
change.
Because this took a long time, to go back through. And as you can see, I certainly had a lot of tabs, right? And I just wouldn't want to have to go back through this again to go and make tabs to see if those changes were made. I
Yeah.
would just
No,
prefer
what
to
Barbara
have
will do is-
something, concise.
She'll have a one-page showing those additional changes that were made as well.
Okay.
So that'll be available to you to see that, the $10,000 for the additional attorney, where that was and how that change was made. So just those changes will be shown on 1 or 2 pages
Okay.
with your rolled-up budget.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Vice Mayor, sorry.
agreeing with Commissioner Thomas. I think but you guys got it at the end. She's want to highlight this is what's changing, so we don't have to go through the whole thing again, because that will be a lot.
Okay.
What
But
were
if
you
you
looking
do leave your book here, we will update it
Okay.
with those changes as
Yeah.
well. So that'll be there, but you'll get the 1-page or 2-page, whatever it comes out to be.
Okay.
Is that something that you were looking for, Commissioner Linden? What were you looking for?
Yes, yes, for the most part. But there was a lot of discussions on a lot of items, and then the discussion went away. All right? We've all made suggestions, and none of it was brought up, talked about, and voted on. That was my point. So I don't know how much changes the 5 of us have talked about. I didn't keep track. But if we just took, I'll use your book as an example with the tabs, if there was 5 or 6 suggested changes made, where are they at and when do we see them? Who kept track of what changes we wanted?
Our staff did.
Okay. All right, that's good.
Anything else?
Now, fair enough.
I think a lot of the discussion is, and I've been through, this is my 11th budget that I've gone through, so I'm kind of used to the process now. But a lot of the discussion is not about we should do something different. A lot of the discussion is, can you explain why? And so we had a lot of that discussion. So I don't think a lot of it is change so much as it is an understanding as to what that budget line was. And that's been my experience when doing the budgets. So
I agree with you on that note, because I've been around the block, I could say, for 8 years as well. But I do like how you've given us the opportunity to provide you our own wish list, so to speak, and not something that we're expecting to say, this is what I want, put it in, but can this fit within what the construct of what we're trying to do, conducting business with the revenue dollars that we have. So I want to thank you for giving us that opportunity, and then also providing a realistic outlook upon our wish and whether or not it truly fits in the scope of things. And kudos as well for that.
Thanks, appreciate it.
If you're all set over here, I just want to again thank staff collectively for doing what they do in this budget. This is the hardest thing in the year, I will have to say. It's never easy, even though you may have experience in it. It still is never easy, but I want to thank you. I want to thank the residents. Your input is highly appreciated. Just because you're not here does not mean you don't have an input, a voice, or a feedback. So I want to thank you. Ms. Perhacs, first person I've experienced that even had a PowerPoint presentation upon your public comment. So that's a new one for me, and I thank you for that as well as my members on the dais who all from different backgrounds have great insight, great opportunity to provide intel as well as feedback, and it shows that when you have the right synergy, things work. So thanks to all. And I'm sorry, if you'd like to speak, you have to wait till after me.
My only point is that I'm very empathetic about how much work you have to do. I truly am.
Yes.
But is there going to be a resident-specific presentation for
Well,
both public hearings where we can understand what's going on rather than just?
We'll talk. That will. Thank you again. You can talk to us after the meeting. I would greatly appreciate it if you do that in the future. Okay. With that, again, thank you everybody for being here. And I will entertain a motion of adjournment. You don't have to do it quickly, even though it's 8:49 and somebody's ready.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second that.
All in favor?